Cool. I'll maybe start off with an opening statement. I've seen the rise of Clickhouse as a backend for metrics and for observability. Today, the kind of incumbent open source solution for storing your log files is Elasticsearch. For storing your metrics, it's kind of all over the place. And for observability, it's early, but it's like open source is Jaeger, and shout out to Honeycomb, which is an awesome solution for that. However, Elasticsearch has a huge compute overhead. That's because they're adding an index to basically every word in your log files. That is a bit over the top. You need indexing, but you don't need it for every word. You need indexing on the things that matter, like what computer did it come from, what time frame, a few fields like that, but not on every word that's in an error message or something like that. What's been really interesting to see is the rise of Prometheus. It has a lot of traction. It's embraced by the CNCF. It's the default in Kubernetes land. However, there's the elephant in the room there is cardinality. Prometheus does not deal well with high cardinality data. Like if you can easily add like, I don't know, a logging level or something like that. But if you add a server name, you kind of run out of cardinality and you have a problem. I've been really excited about the rise of Clickhouse as a solution to have one backend. There's been lots of attempts at kind of doing this. I think I'm a big Postgres fan, so timescale DB has been something I've been cheering for. But I think Clickhouse has that kind of raw efficiency. We've seen companies like Uber publish that they're using Clickhouse as a metrics backend. We've done some testing ourselves of timescale DB versus Clickhouse, and Clickhouse was much, much, much better at ingesting data. They're not as efficient as the Prometheus backends, which use object storage extensively, but they get rid of the cardinality problem. And Clickhouse is great for both kind of the logging data and the metrics data. So you get to a unified platform. I've not seen them being used for tracing yet, but I assume that's relatively easy to do. So they seem to fit in the sweet spot. A bit more overhead than Prometheus, but you get all the cardinality you want, which is, I think, very essential to be effective as an engineer. Also, because of the popularity, there's been an open core startup around it, but also now the original engineers from Yandex just launched their own startup, Clickhouse Inc., which I think will do really, really well. So there's a lot of momentum behind it, and it's the typical, this came kind of bottoms up. This is not some commercial company pushing. This was really the strength of the product. So I think it's a really important consideration as we improve our monitoring stack to consider Clickhouse as the unifying backend.